Okay, there we go. Okay, I guess I have to use this now. Might sound a bit different to what is normally the case, so I apologize, but my PC acted up just before the stream started, so that's a bit awkward. But yeah, today we're streaming the professionals of the EU server. It is gonna be pretty fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's finally beginning, the top 8 on EU, and it's gonna be fun. I'd say we have a quick look at the brackets. Maybe also tell you who is streaming what. I think that could be nice for everyone to know. And then just, enjoying our time, I think. So, the first game that we will be watching, myself, will be Endgame versus APA. All these games are best of 5s, by the way, so meaning you need 3 victories to win. We will have Fujit watching Serenity versus BPS. He is streaming that game. We also have Amunet and Jack back on board. In this case, we have Jack streaming Loka versus BPS and Amunet streaming BPS versus A1N1. Meaning we have streamers for all games, meaning none of them will be missed, which is fantastic, of course. Let me just start that. Alright, and yeah. We are also then going to be watching the loser bracket semifinals, that one at the very bottom, for both groups as the double eliminations. The group 1 will be watched by myself and Fujit. We're going to have a talk just before that. And the one in group 2 will, of course, be seen by Aminet and Jack. They will also co-commentate that from what they've told us. So, yeah. That's all there's really to it. And let's just enjoy. Oh god. Let me just add some filters to this, because I can't stand looking at that. Alright, this should be a lot better, hopefully. Not quite sure, but I just hope it is. Let's get that off screen. And yeah, I'll have the logos prepared. If I need to swap them, I shall. But they are positioned so nothing is going to... They are going to block nothing. The endgame logo is going to be right next to the minimap, but that's about it. And yeah. What else do I need to tell you? 5 minutes delay. Obviously, to avoid any kind of stream sniping. Keep the chat in English, that would be preferred. There are rewards, which I will talk about in a moment. But interactive ones, not on the web browser or anything. What else? Please don't hate on any team or players. If you do so, I will time you out. But you are free to cheer for any team that you like. And yeah, I think that's about it, right? If you have any questions, put them in the chat, of course. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Or possibly even a moderator do so if I, may be occupied at the moment. But otherwise, that's about it. And yeah, just to make sure again, Jack streaming Loka and BPS, Fujit, Serenity and Reti. I mean at BPS and A1N1, and we have Endgame and APA. You can find all of them here. They will link you to YouTube, I think. And then you can check these streams out. And yeah, let's have a look. It will start at o'clock. Basically, we have 4 to spare. Canal and Faust as tiebreaker. Some very interesting map choices here. We have a very clunky map, a very put together, not a lot of space to move around in. Canal very open, very cap driven, and then Faust a mix of both. So very interesting how the maps have been decided here. Unfortunately, there's no streams for the challenges, but I'll just have to live with that. Can't have enough for everything, I assume. But yeah, starting with WoTB, we have Endgame versus APA, and again with webcam, by the way. I do feel better, so maybe that will add some stuff to you guys, I don't know. Sadly though, it is still very bright here in Germany, even though it's nearly 8. I can't really make it any darker, unfortunately, because it is a bit too bright. So I hope you can live with it. And yeah, we'll enjoy. I'm of course back in my usual wear of the shirt, you know, getting back in the mood and everything. And just hope you guys are going to be enjoying it. Let's also say hi to Senko, Layla, Mr. Big and David, who have already been in the chat. And yeah, as you might have seen from the Asian streams and maybe some announcements from other streamers, we have been given battle passes to give away for these streams. In total 10. These will be for June, so not for this month, so don't worry about that. And I have already decided how I will be giving away mine for at least today and tomorrow. Not quite sure how I will do it on the following ones, but I want to be as transparent as possible, so please take a listen. I will also explain it as we go throughout the stream. I'll be giving 2 battle passes to chat moderators tomorrow and today. The order doesn't matter since they are for June anyway, but just so we're clear. So 2 go to moderators for the fantastic job, of course. I just want to recognize that since they have been here for most of my tournament streams, keeping the chat clean as possible. I will also be having a prediction, the first one which will start, let's say now. And it will be between Endgame and APA. You have time to put in your prediction into the chat up until the first game is over. So meaning whoever wins the first match here. Then it will stop, and whoever at the end of this matchup has it correct in the team and the score that will win will get a battle pass. There will be 2 winners for this prediction, the first 2 to get it right. So please don't spam, because the moderators will check it, and that will be pretty clean. I will also have one for the matchup after this, of course, for the losers bracket, but we'll get to that once those matches start. I'll also have something to give away between, so that we can, you know, round up to the 10 for today. As we have been given free range on how to give those out, that is my choice. So please remember, put in the score that you think this will end on, as it's a best of 5. 3 points is what you need to win. Name the team that will win between these 2. And of course your server and username, else you're not eligible to win this battle pass. So yeah, hope that is everything clear. Maybe the moderators, if you have any questions, can explain that again. I did talk to them before stream, so yeah. Hope that was clear enough. And with that, let's focus on the game here. But before we do that, let's say a quick hey to Johnston and exclusive, and move on to the game now. With Endgame versus APA, we have WoTB here as our first map, meaning a lot of heavy tanks, and that is true since we have 14 of them. Double mouse on the side of Endgame here with a Kran and E6, which has been used here and there throughout spring. It's a faster E5 with less armor, but more DPM and more mobility, as I said. So it does have some use. We also have double E5 and an IS4 here. APA going for a more traditional lineup, triple IS4, triple Krando, and 1 E5. Very heavy on hit points here, the lineup that APA has. And yeah, let's see what the first game has in store for us. Endgame here with that double mouse, definitely looking like they want to play near or around C. Ice 4 is usually an indicator for maybe even the corner here, near and around A. So let's see what will happen between these two teams. And as we can see here, Winch in his E6. The E6 is very mobile for a heavy tank. One of the faster ones in the game. Making his way towards the middle here. And as we can see, both teams sending some into the corner. For endgame, it's Object here in his E5. And we have Ambassador in the IS-4 here. Not quite committing, just in the bush there. A lot of tanks already spotted here. And APA actually deciding to go for the middle instead of the corner. With all of their Kranwagens here. Radek has to be very cautious of his movements. With both Toby, who already took a shot, and Shoko here, or now known as Susie, around B, not quite going forward just yet, because these Krans will just shoot down upon them with heat. So they have to be very careful here. Karolek already down in position to cancel out that IS-4 peeking. Can't do a too well job though. And look at that also here in his E5. Already pushing through, putting up pressure on endgame here. Who now have to move forward, but they've dropped a lot of hit points already. Hit point advantage definitely on the side of APA here. Putting in damage after damage. Now on Radek here. In his Kranwagen has to fall back, but these enemy Krans are just pushing on him. Oh, can he kill him? Can he get him? No, not quite. Doesn't roll high enough here. And Radek stays alive with 12 hit points. But for how long is going to be the question here. Toby is now being focused. And APA just pushing through. Ooh, miss there from Radek. Ernest staying alive. Able to clear him. Toby goes down as well. With Orca here. A bit out in the open. Object finally grouping up with the rest. And the first Kranwagen from APA has fallen. But the hit point advantage is starting to be significant here. Also in the E5 still causing trouble for endgame. Now Winch here fighting him head on, but he doesn't have the hit points to do so and will go down within the next shot. Oh, ram kill here. The mouse can save a shot, doesn't have to shoot him again. And now also here down to one shot. The hit points are more or less even now. But with two tanks dying in quick succession here, endgame needs to lower these numbers as we now have a 3v4. But Object goes down. And it's not looking too good. Also here down to a 2-shot. He doesn't have to risk anything. And Karo here getting absolutely focused. Already has Kiro on his back. Not gonna get out of this alive, but he might be able to put out one more shot. Not able to. And it seems that APA will be winning the first one here with Shoko. The last one left with his mouse against 3 from APA. And a very strong start here. I think the main issue definitely here for endgame being that very early damage loss that they had. Well, not damage, but hit point loss. And also here, getting up their back with that E5 definitely was crucial. And more or less brought that dynamic down. And with that, we have our victor here being APA for the first round. Mousy doing 5k. And so did Orso though. Amazing amount of damage has been farmed from both of these teams. What a great result. We see another mouse here. Or it is just a play change. It is indeed double mouse stays for endgame. We now have a 113 here from Karo. A lot of DPM on that thing. And a lot of forward mobility, but the traverse rather poor. And not the greatest amount of DPM. Amount of armor, sorry. It has been buffed for its side though, so it might be a bit more sufficient now. We also have double Kran, an E5 and an IS-4. And APA now going for a similar strategy here. Also double mouse, but quad IS-4. And a Kranwagen. No E5 this time. Going for heavy hit points. The E5 a downside here being that it doesn't have as much as other heavy tanks. But the Ice 4 definitely does with its 2800 here, able to keep up. And APA is gonna have quite the significant HP advantage, I would assume. It will be very interesting. APA here with that lead though, 1-0. Definitely now momentum on their side, but it won't be over just yet if Endgame does lose this one as well. As there's a best of 5, not a best of 3. So all good and well. And also, of course, even if the team does lose here, like either of them, there's still the lower brackets, so you can afford to lose. Of course, you want to preferably not, but it is not out of the question. And yeah, not that much of an HP difference, but it is definitely there in favor of APA. 20,000 here. Broken by APA. And Endgame, again, moving for A and B. With Toby here in his eyes for slowly marching forwards towards the corner here. And so is APA with a lot of eyes fours in mind. Amber here, I'm just gonna shorten the name. Already at the corner, unable to hit his shot there for the 1-1-3. Who interestingly enough did not go for the corner itself but the middle here. Has now Masinek in front of him. And Endgame here very aggressive with their mouses already near B. And look at that aggression from APA here. These IS4s are hunting for Toby. But are starting to slowly lose some damage. But Toby here is going to be worse for wear. He's going to have these mouses shoot into the side. And Kranwagen's in front of him. He will not survive this. He shouldn't either. But APA is getting away with this. And look at the HP difference already here established from the beginning. B has been capped, but they lost the tank. And aren't in too good of a position here. Winch pretty much out in position here. Has to be careful. But these mouses from APA are also slowly but surely taking damage. Oka here behind the back has to be careful not to peek too far. Trading here, but you don't want to trade too much. Ooh, trading again. It's going negatively for him here. And with Ernest now pushing, he is going to have the advantage. APA now bringing back these IS4s here into the mix. And look at that Susie here. With the mouse from Endgame just straight up pushing over. He doesn't even care. He's not even getting shot at right now. Just now taking the first hit here. As you generally want to ignore mouses. Making this play here is actually not all that bad. Giving a distraction to APA. Giving some breathing room here for the rest of the tanks. But they're again down on hit points quite drastically. And that lacking gun is starting to show as we now have Karo here being pushed by 2. He has no backup. Will go down. And now Susie here all alone against 2. As Endgame needs to make a move to do something here. But this something required a lot of sacrifice already. The next mouse out. And also he is just buying time. More and more as time goes on. Finally goes down. And it is a 3v6. And again, APA here in full control. And Endgame not in the greatest of positions here. Ooh, getting shot at here. Focus on object. Ernest able to gonna be clearing him. Nope. Shooting the ground there actually. Able to pick up another bit of damage. But Radek here gonna go down first. And then it is just Orca left. And APA here. Very strong start. Winning this game as well. Now on match point. And this is very surprising. What I believe to be for most people. In APA here. Dominating Endgame on the first map. Now with absolute momentum behind them. APA only need to win one more game. But Endgame now definitely is forced to play their top game here. They need to win 3 games in a row. Now with double T22 Vickers as well, Endgame here for going for risky strats. But I think that's what they have to. But so is APA here. Going for absolute annihilation strats. A double Progetto, T22, triple E5 and a 215B. This is a very hard mix of aggression and DPM here. From this lineup. Endgame similarly so, but not quite. With that triple E5 as well. But an IS4 slowing them down quite a bit. Endgame here has to win now. And if they don't, they will drop down to the losers bracket. And we need to remember, you don't want to go there because one team will go today. Or 2 teams actually, 1 from each group. And having that pressure on you, losing already this badly, is not going to be great. We have our lineups ready. Hit points should probably be similar here, and indeed they are only 16,000 for both. It's not that high. And we're gonna see a very aggressive APA here in a moment. Oh yeah, there we go. The Vickers has the intel. And all of these E5s just pushing in. They don't see these Progettos here. They should have had someone at least peek over. But no one did. Orca here, seeing them now. We have... Oh, look at that. Karo here, taking 3 shots into the side. Getting hammered there. And Endgame now needs to make a move. Somewhere. Toby here behind these E5s is going to be able to put shots down on the asses. Preferably even HC here, and look at that damage already. APA here doing a good job at connecting their shells. And Endgame is just bleeding here. Winch down to a 2-shot. Oka needs to shield, but so is Masijo here. Potentially. Oh, now a 1-shot. Winch here bouncing one from Ernest. But also, he's gonna commit. And look at that Kiro here. He goes down. Not sure how that happened. Might have been an Amarak. I did not fully see that. Also here down to a 3-shot too. Winch goes down. Oh, because he is playing with fire. And Toby's finally arrived behind these heavy tanks here. Now focusing the 215B. He has the most DPM of these heavy tanks. So focusing him is the right decision. Orca going down. He's down to 13 hit points. APA here has 2 1-shots. And Endgame needs to clear them. There we go. Tanks have dropped. Now a 5v4 here, Endgame. Looking pretty good. If we look at the hit points, Karo does go down. An object here bounces the shot on Masinek. 3v4 now, but Toby is still full HP. Making this now a 2v3 here. He needs to be the anchor for Endgame to keep this game together. If they get out Radek, this game will be very bad for Endgame. That's a good shot into Ernest. And Radek here being pushed by everything that is... Oh, look at that high roll. 419, just what he needed. If he didn't kill him in 1-shot, this would have been absolutely terrible for Endgame here. Now Ernest to a 1-shot. Radek can definitely take that one. Knowing that he will be fine, because Toby is arriving. And this game... Definitely endgames here. APA too aggressive. And endgame able to keep their nerves here. In this game. Not sure what happened with that E5 from Kiro though. Sun Kirovnik there. Might have been an Amarak. I am not quite sure though. No, he did receive 7 shots. It seems to be a normal death here. But Endgame there was able to keep their tanks alive just that little bit better for a little bit longer. For Endgame. Now leading a very unconventional game. For Canal, usually very slow, very thoughtful with caps and everything. This game, none of that. That was a very risky play by APA, but they were able to make that because they had a 2-game lead here over Endgame. They are able to risk something like that. But Endgame now needs to definitely use that victory for their advantage. Still match point here, the second one for APA. Now triple Kranwagen, still a Progetto here from Osso, double E5 and a Vickers. APA, one of the teams more prone to using the Progetto. Not a bad tank, but it can bite you in the back if you don't know how to use it well. An Endgame here, going for double T22 again, a grill from Object for potential C resets. It's definitely what you would usually see for a grill. Triple E5 and the mouse from Toby. Very, very interesting. And we have also here changing to a T22 instead of a Progetto. All right. This will be very interesting here. Object. Potential position here to reset C. That is basically what you usually see. Might even drive up here. We have seen that before as well. Oh, Endgame again committing 4D here with their E5, sending all of that over. But as we can see, APA is doing the same. Double E5 has been sent over. And Master Joe here very aggressively. He sees Toby. Oh, Winch here is being overly aggressive. But so is Orca here. Oh, this could go terribly wrong. Also here able to put some shots in. And the E5s are soon to arrive as well. But the initial trade here has been more positive for Endgame. Oh, the Kran push here over the open. Has also been seen here. Endgame an absolute knowledge. Let's look at the grill's position. He has made his way up. And is now just waiting for the next one to peek. Toby here, though, has absolutely been shredded with hit points. He took so much here trying to cross that bridge there. Don't think that was worth it at all. He definitely needs to look this way now. Seeing if anyone is trying to escape this corner. As we now have Winch here. Doubling up with him. As we have a stalemate here going on. Endgame versus APA. But Endgame has left their T22s. And sent them away. Look at that nice shot there from the grill. Orca here also getting a shot, and then so did Winch. And if the Kranwagen did see that correctly, APA should know that they can push these E5s now. And that's exactly what they're doing here. Radek here at the forefront. With Susie and Kado, they are getting pushed and they need to move backwards as much as possible, but they need to connect shots as well. Radek here now tracked in position, needs to get away further. And the grill here will be spotted. He already is. But the hit points here are favoring Endgame right now. They are making the better play and APA is not committing hard enough. This push here is not aggressive. And Orca, as well as Winch over there, already cleaning up the Vickers. Mouse here getting side shots in as well. And Endgame in full control now. Having an extra tank, having 2 extras. And 3000 HP advantage. Is gonna give them a massive lead here. That Kranwagen is down to 8 hit points. And Endgame also still has both T22s alive here. Toby, slowly but surely, trundling along. Over Canal here. Ram kill there on Orso. And with that, this game has been decided and we go to tiebreaker here. in our very first match between Endgame and APA, who were able to stop 2 pushes, 2 advances, and just a better reaction here, finishing it off with a 7-0. Very, very good plays here. The mouse and grill not even doing all that much damage in the end, but still vital in what they did. And we move to Faust, a combination of Otusbear and Canal in the way they are played. And we have Tiebreaker. Very, very tight games here. APA very dominant in the first 2, and Endgame dominating APA in the other 2. So this could go either way at this point. Lineups here are being changed. We have one Kranwagen here from Endgame, a 215B, and a Vickers. That's quite a good hash combination if you can let them run wild with it. But no T22. APA here deciding to potentially go for a double up. That would be interesting to see in that dynamic. Oh, no, we only see one, but quad E5 and double Kranwagen. Endgame here, only going for triple E5 and an IS4 again. Really seeming to like to keep at least one of those on the battlefield. Winch here in a singular Kran. We have Endgame spawning in the north, APA spawning in the south. And let's see how this one will turn out. Hit points here are pretty even. But I would say a DPM advantage here for Endgame. With that 215B Vickers combination. Orca here looking to make some spots, potentially on D. Maybe even drop into B. Does not see also. Doesn't see anyone else crossing either. The Ernest has been seen. Not sure by who. Seems that the 215B there. Slight cap advantage here for Endgame. APA here having a lot of tanks over at A. Endgame neglecting that. And look at this push. This is not being detected right now. And Karo, Toby, and even Winch here able to just push through and Ocel over there. Able to more or less get away, just taking 1 damage, but control over D is lost. And Endgame here can now just steal that under their nose. With Karo straight in it. And APA here is now slowly grouping up, but this is more or less spotted here. These E5s have been seen. Karo was able to fully cap it as well. And draws himself out of it. And he does have support from the rest of the team. APA here deciding to push now over the top side here onto Radek and onto Toby. Ernest here from the sidelines and Susie as well in that 215B, losing a lot of hit points. The one with DPM here should not be focused. So the positioning is not the greatest. Missing that shot as well is crucial. Radek now being heavily focused here. This game currently looking better for APA here. Focusing Susie, focusing Radek. 2 very low targets already, but that's not the case for APA here. Only that Kranwagen now slowly going down here. 2 tanks out for Endgame. Ernest here drops. And so does Ambaso, now making this a 5v5, but Toby's already down to a 1-shot again. And he is not gonna survive this for any longer. Oh, big Amorek on the T22 here. Right back at it. We have Karo here, holding back soon. Also, they're still full HP. And Orca with his Vickers, he definitely needs to start working now. But he also needs to avoid these e5s here. He takes one. Oh, also, can he connect? No, he does! Is able to get the shot in. A gunner is out of that Vickers. And now it's all about focus fire. Winch has 3 shells left. Now 2. And he needs to connect these. Very, very desperately. Endgame here is heavily split. Oh, Masinek takes one more. Oh, he doesn't pen this shot. That was very, very crucial. Does go down here. Karo puts him down to a one-shot. Still using this wreck from Radek to the best of his abilities here. With Oka now trying to get the back there of Masinek. Not able to do so. And soon from above, they're getting a good shot into that e5. Object here, not able to connect either. Oh, Karolek goes down. An endgame here. In a very bad position right now. Object still healthy. He can take 2. Now only 1. But the points are not too bad. Oka here versus Orsel. He needs to high roll for this. Oh, he bounces the shot. And this is a 1v4 here for Object. He has 3 one-shots against him. But Sun, the one who is not a one-shot, is right behind him. He bounces the shot. And Endgame wins this. Loses this, actually. Sorry, APA wins this tiebreaker. And what a cracking game this was. Wow. APA able to keep these low HP tanks alive. And the focus fire, especially on Suzy and on Radek, has been fantastic. And the Vic is just too aggressive. An endgame here not able to succeed. Moves down to the losers bracket. And what a game. Wow. That is crazy. With that, let's have a quick look at the brackets. What happened between Serenity and Reiti? It was a 3-1 for Serenity here. That means we're going to see Endgame versus Reiti in a moment. In about, what is that? 24 minutes. And in Group 2, we have BPS here. Winning over A1N1 in a 3-1 as well. The other game also going to tiebreaker. Loka versus BPS. Wow. And with that, it's time for giveaway part 2, as I'll show you a replay. And you'll have to guess the amount of damage I do by the end of it. I will leave it off, though, the HUD, so you'll see it in more or less a realistic view, meaning this one. And the one who gets closest, the first 2 as well, plus username and server, will again be getting a battle pass each. And in about 1 minute, I'll say stop. Wait, how long is this game? 4 minutes, right? So in about 2 minutes, I'll say stop. And after that, a moderator say stop in the chat, and nothing after that will count. And let's hop in the voice chat with Fujit. And now he's not responding. He just said, let me know when you're ready. 3 minutes ago. Come on, Fujit. What is that? Great. We're just going to be waiting for Fujit then. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Fujit.
Ah, there we go. So, how did that go? How do you think that went?
Very, very interestingly. I mean, it
Oh,
went all the way to tiebreaker, and it was very intense until the end.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought Reti were playing really well. To be honest with you, I thought.
Alright,
I mean,
stop
just out
now
of
in the
interest,
chat.
in the first game on Canal, I didn't. I caught it in the glimpse of my eye. Was that an ammo rack on Forever Green?
I am Fujit.
In...
Remember, we didn't see the same game.
Oh no, we didn't. Oh yeah, forgot that. It's the next game we see the same game.
Yes, indeed. Because I've been watching APA Endgame.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Hang on a minute. Why have I got my ugly mug on whilst I'm showing a replay? There we go. Yes, you have. I forgot that. For some reason, I thought we were doing the same game, but that's the next game. We're doing the same game.
Indeed, we do.
Wow. I mean, Red Team were doing well, but they had an ammo rack on Canal. So they lost the first game to Serenity, won the second game,
The first
and
game
then
was
lost the
Fortress
third
Bad,
game.
though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. So they lost the first game to Serenity. They lost the first game to Serenity. Won the second game, really played it well. Lost the second game, but I think they had an ammo rack on an E5 really early in the game, which and he did 0 damage. So, and I'm pretty sure he did. Interestingly, Serenity took a grill on Canal twice.
Endgame did that too in their last game.
Oh, really? Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what they're looking at. And then in the second game, it wasn't an ammo rack, but poor old Max Bitty and his TVP got whittled down like in very early doors in the game as he was trying to escape from the decap. But they were holding up well, but Serenity just managed to basically push back. And well played by Serenity, but you know, commiserations to Reti. They did play well. They did play well. And if it was an ammo rack, then I can only feel sorry for them because, like most ammo racks, it's a game changer.
Yeah, it can be, really. But yeah, my game was very, very abnormal. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
It was very interesting. So, the first two Fortress Bad games, APA just absolutely dominated Endgame. Endgame lost both of those and just... I don't know what exactly was the reason, but they couldn't handle them. Not sure what exactly it was, but APA just played very, very well. And then the next two Canal games, APA was trying to be aggressive because, you know, they had won the first two games on match point. You can start being risky, which, you know, is a fine choice. It's a strategy, putting pressure on your opponent. But Endgame turning it really around, able to just stop the push that APA had made, and were able to win that game. And the same thing more or less happened in game 2 on Canal. So Endgame won those as well. Meaning they stopped two pushes that happened from APA whilst being under pressure of that match point. So we had to go to Faust for tiebreak.
Okay.
And that was very, very close as well, because it went down to both teams being at around 2.6 KHB at the end. With Endgame taking very good map control at the start of the game, but just being out-focused. And they couldn't keep their tanks alive, whilst APA had, I think, 3 one-shots at the end, and a 2-shot. But
right.
Endgame was just not quite able to do it, and APA actually won that 3-2.
Okay.
So I don't think a lot of people expected this kind of a result, but I mean, you know, I'm not mad about it. It just means that Endgame is under heavy pressure, and so is Reti for possibly dropping out on day 1.
Well, Endgame are under immense pressure. Have they ever been in that position?
They might have in the past, but not to my memory. At least not in recent time. Seeing as how dominant they were throughout the season, at least, right?
Well, absolutely.
Other than maybe when they lost against Vale, day 1. That one previous skill.
Yeah, but they had...
But the stakes are different, let's put it that. So, what do you expect from this game, Endgame versus Reti?
I don't know, because I really like Serenity. I think they are...
It's not Serenity, Fujit. We're watching lower brackets.
Oh yeah, we are watching no brackets. Reti, well, no, Reti, unfortunately. I mean, the problem is I was too busy doing this battle pass as well, which I've got no mods. I've got no mods at the moment for whatever reason.
Just rewatch the
So-
stream then. Don't worry about it. Just rewatch and then check the chat.
No, I've done it now, but yeah, with no mods, it's pretty difficult. Anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, Reti and Endgame. Well, you'd have to put it in Endgame's court. However, Reti can do it. I mean, okay, they lack a little bit on their focus fire, if I'm being honest. They do lack a little bit on their focus fire. Endgame, however, I'm surprised they're in the position that they're in, is the honest answer. And I'd expect them to come back more powerful than they normally are. Because when they want to be aggressive, they're aggressive. And when they're really aggressive, they're totally impossible to counter.
I think what happened against APA here, for Endgame, was that more or less they got out aggressiveness, kind of, by APA at the beginning in Fort Despair, so they couldn't handle that. They were also just, I don't know, they just didn't play their top game. They really changed it up though on the Canal games, like playing how they usually do. Just very focused, very controlled. They did make a very risky play, which APA did start. They abused that fully because they realized it. Because two mediums tried to rotate away from the heavy tanks. So APA was like, let's push that, because, you know, there's 2 tanks less. They also knew where the other 2 were, so pushing that was not that hard. But Endgame just rolled back, let the rest of the team do their thing, and APA was not aggressive enough. So if Endgame is controlled in these games now, then they definitely should not have a hard time, considering that Reti just barely managed to jump into top 8 on the last day. But I don't want to put Reti completely out of the question, of course. They did make it to top 8, not for no reason after all, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they can do it. As I said, they didn't play badly tonight. I'll be honest with you. They really didn't. I mean, okay, Serenity were better coordinated and seemed to have better mobility and movement around the map than Reti. But I keep going back to that first game on Canal, where they got an ammo rack. I mean, they were in control of the game, to be honest with you. In fact, they were in control of both Canal games. Don't get me wrong, Serenity did a good push, but in both of the Canal games, if the first one was an ammo rack, that's a gun out of the battle for no damage really early, and that put them under pressure. And in the second game, they lost their TVP very early, whilst he was trying to escape from the danger zone. There were 2 of them. It just so happened that Max Bitty got focused. And this is what I was saying about Serenity. Their focus fire is a little bit better than Reti's. And they did use the grill to good effect, to be fair. But it wasn't like Serenity had an easy run of it, because they really didn't. It looked, if you're watching it, it looks pretty easy, but it really wasn't that straightforward for them. Reti did make them work for it. They really did. Considering that they played most of the game, 95% of the game with only 6 tanks.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Which is tough, as you know. Yeah, it's not easy. It is not easy when you've only got a few tanks. You've got a tank less. Your hit points. You just look at the hit point difference. You're like, really? What? Hey, what? And they had the cap advantage. They did have the cap advantage. And they were using it to trying to defend it, but they just couldn't with the gun down. Simple as.
Yeah. I'm also looking forward to these games in general, because all the first 4 games I watched were not typical for the maps that were played. Meaning that Fort Despair is usually a very slow game, very composed. Turned out to be or not actually. Sometimes it's very aggressive, but it turned out to be a mix of just absolute map control, which on a small map like that is not easily doable.
No, it's not, and it's you can see that. I mean, in the first game, Serenity played it really well. They had good positioning. They sort of anticipated where Reti were going to go. In the second game, Reti had better positioning, and they to be fair, they annihilated Serenity. It wasn't 7-0, but I think it was 5. They ended up with, it was basically They killed 7. They only had 5 tanks left. So 7-2, I think that is. So they really did play it well. But Fort Despair, you're right. I mean, it's a very condensed map. There's not many different types of strats you can do on it. There's different meta selection, but there's not really that many different strats you can play. The A cap is very difficult to get, as everybody knows. It's incredibly difficult, and you've always got tanks overlooking it. Some teams like to send. I mean, it used to be mediums. Now they're sending heavies out to that far corner overlooking the A cap. But when you've got the Kranwagons, because they used to be Vickers, they're now sticking Kranwagons on the ramps up to the B cap. The A cap just becomes a nightmare. So it's all around the B cap and the C cap, really.
Yeah, but the thing was in the game that I watched as well, of APA Endgame, as I said, it just wasn't the normal Canal game, because it was just full forcing both teams over D, that side in the corner there. As you said, usually it's a BC cap play with one side going A and one D, or they just meet on one of these sides. But that just wasn't the case. None of the teams went for C or B specifically. They just in one game happened to cap it, on the way through. But I'm not sure if that will be the case for the next games as well, where it's just an unconventional strat from both teams specifically, or if it's just happened to turn out this way. So I'm excited.
So am I. I mean, I've seen some different strats employed tonight on Canal, to be honest with you. I mean, as you say, normally it is between, fast cap B, fast cap C, either go D and A. I haven't seen that tonight with Reti and Serenity. Neither tried to fast cap B or C, to be honest. We had Reti taking their mediums, which in the first game happened to be, I think, 4 TVPs, all the way around to the D cap. And then Serenity taking their heavies aggressively to the B cap. And they started on the C cap side. So, and I'm seeing a lot of that recently. I saw it on Asia earlier as well, where clans now, in the attempt to try and get different strats for these maps, are doing basically more aggressive things, which is interesting. I mean, they're rushing over those bridges and taking those E5s down and trying to get around the map. But on the same token, Reti did the same thing. They did not take their E5s and their heavies into that B cap. They dropped them down into the canal on the D cap side to try and get round to C. So it's been great to see this sort of stuff. It's not the usual, we'll cap A and B, you cap C and D, and we'll see who gets there first. Which is what it used to be. It used to be that. But I'm seeing different things, which is fantastic. Same as Fort Despair, as I said. I mean, Fort Despair, we're seeing the same sort of similar type of strats, just a change in the meta, as the clans are trying to think out new things to do on such a small map with very limited options. To be fair,
especially since how ingrained the strats already are, because it's a very old map too. So pulling in a new meta is hard. Even with the Kranwagen coming in and the TVP, and even arguably the Vickers, which also kind of still isn't new, the meta didn't change that much on the map itself. So
no, not really.
Pretty
but
interesting.
It's like, I mean, thinking about the games that we're about to see. I mean, Port Bay, another old map, another one that on the face of it, it looks big, but I mean, are we going to see the typical have a mouse, send it towards the B cap, send a light or a medium? Yeah, send a light and a medium over to spot C if we're going to do the A strat, or send them everybody to C and send a light or a medium to the A cap, or as I'm seeing now more often, stick a Kranwagen if you spawn on that side over to the rock overlooking the A cap, so if anything drops in you can smack it. I mean, I can see that they're trying to reinvent new strats, but again, Port Bay, a very old map. And, again, it's just they're trying to tinker with the meta. New Bay, however, we've got, and that's a newish map, so it's always interesting to see what they do there. And what was the third map? I can't remember now.
Rockfield is the tiebreaker.
Oh, Rockfield again, another old map. And again, are they going to be sending everybody to A with overlook on B and your Vickers or your medium on the ramp overlooking sort of the C lane?
Mm.
It's again, and I feel sorry for the clans because, with certain maps, they look big, but they're not that big in real terms.
With Rockfield also, even if it is God damn it, the tiebreaker. It's going to be interesting
Mhm.
if we get there, if they do some changes, because throughout the season, teams have usually played the same, like more or less a similar meta, but BPS branched out of it with Zerd in his 268. So I'm interested to see if we
Okay.
maybe see another team also maybe including a TD on that map, because it's usually very risky. But BPS made it work all
Actually,
the time.
well, Rockfield isn't the decider. New Bay is. So
Nope.
so we are going to see.
No, no,
That's
no,
what I've
no, no.
got. Port Bay, Port Bay, Port Bay, Rockfield, Rockfield, New Bay, lower bracket.
Hey.
Yeah. I thought it was Port Bay, New Bay, but it's not. It's Port Bay, Rockfield, Rockfield, New Bay.
It just moved.
So
What the heck? A
yeah, they
moment
do
ag-
this to
a moment
they
ago
do this
it's
to test you.
a moment ago it said Rockfield last. What the heck? That is confusing. All right. Well, if New Bay is the
They
time
do
back,
it
I
to
think
test you.
both these teams are going to be breathing a bit, because it's not a favorite of any team. I don't think.
No, it's not. I mean, the thing that we try to find, the thing that we can almost be guaranteed on Rockfield is there will be a brawl somewhere.
That is true. It's either on C or on A, with maybe a
Correct.
tank or two fighting at B. That's usually how it ends up.
Mhm. And depending on their meta selection, and I'm expecting one of them, maybe not both, but I'm expecting Super Heavies to make an appearance on Port Bay
Yeah.
to overlook at that B lane, which
I
is
mean,
normal.
already seeing an STB for 80 here and double T22, a very light lineup for this heavy meta. No mouse so far.
Oh, no, not at the moment.
But I mean, an ISO can basically do the same job. The reason you take a mouse is it's very big. So if you do intend to push on B, because it's a mouse, usually you ignore it. So and you shoot something else. So a B cap is pretty high success rate. It can also cover itself very well because of its hit points. But seeing as there's no mouse at play here, we might see Endgame's IS4 doing it because it's similar. It can side scrape. It has a lot of hit points compared to like an E5, for example. But I mean,
Oh yeah, I
it's-
mean, but they're both going for mobility. I mean,
they really do.
two T22s, an STB1 on Retti's team.
We also see Triple Kran. Recently, there's been a lot of boosts in their own sides near the seaside. So we might see that happen with one of the Kranwagens being pushed up for Reti here.
Well, looking at Retti's meta, I can't see them doing anything other than maybe going C-strap with those haul down tanks, 3 crans and an E5. STBs also haul down realistically. T22s can move around nicely, so can the STB, but I really can't see them putting those on the flat. Looking at Endgame, however, I mean, they've got a brace of haul downs apart from the IS4 as well. I mean, 2 Crown Wagons, 2 T22s, 2 E5s. Maybe we'll get a brawl at sea.
Might happen.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, it could be. It could be that way.
Yeah.
You just never know with these guys. I mean, you turn around and say, "Oh, I can't expect them to start looking at, not going into a position where there's no haul down capability because these guys can do anything like that."
Yeah.
To be fair.
It's gonna be interesting. Like, Reti is a mix of just stable with the triple crown being able you can just hold straight up. And but also triple mediums, so it's interesting.
Exactly. Will be interesting.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be good fun, and we've got just under a minute and a half to go, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think with that,
So who do you predict?
I think it's gonna be a 3-1 for Endgame. That's my
That's an
guess.
interesting one. Okay. Well, I think Retty will be thinking that they've got a chance here, and I think they're going to give them a hard time. I mean, I'm going to have to probably say, yeah, probably 3-1 as well to Endgame. But I haven't seen Endgame play yet. I've seen Retty play. I'm only giving that because I know Endgame can do it.
Yeah.
But if Endgame are not on their game, then Reti can quite easily turn it.
Yeah, and that would
Let's
be
see.
the end. Yeah. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll leave you with that then. Just quickly making my
Indeed. Well,
rest giveaway.
have a good,
And we'll see each other
have a
after
good,
the games then.
indeed,
other
have a
two.
good commentary. Talk to you in a bit.
All right.
Bye for now, mate.
Bye.
All right, that's our talk with Fujit done. And again, to iterate, now, best of 5, put your predictions in the chat with your in-game name. Because if you forget that, it doesn't count. It doesn't. All right, that clear? The score and the winning team needs to be included as well as your server, not just the in-game name. If you don't do that, it won't count. I don't care. No mercy upon those who don't follow rules. But regardless of that, let's enjoy ourselves with the winners here and, you know, sorrow for those that will drop out here between Areti and Endgame, as one of these teams will have to leave us tonight. But let's start with Port Bay here, the first game. Very interesting lineup from both, as we have mentioned with Fujit a moment ago. That triple medium is very intriguing for Areti here. And let me actually just move that logo a little bit to the side. Alright. Both teams here are definitely going for that C side. So let's see maybe the T-22s from Endgame here. See who hits how many shells. Oh, none of them took damage. Oh, look at that here. Spitty in his STB is going very aggressive. And his position can work in random match. Oh, object. Oh, he did pay attention. But this position right here counters that corner there and limits your play heavily if the team ignores this position. But Endgame, of course, not doing that, sending some tanks here. But Reti is very, very aggressive. And Endgame is very far back here. And if Reti can keep up their focus fire, this could go very well for them. Currently, the trades aren't exactly in their favor. Currently losing the corner trade, and also the peak on Toby here is not going like you want. Iki here specifically already lost engine and turret and down to 700 hit points. And the corner push here has now started. It's a 2v2. Oka here dropping first though, and Charlie and Elno Pen fighting a Winch now, who has been set on fire and is currently looking good for them. Toby here does drop an endgame, all of a sudden not looking too well anymore. After losing this corner brawl here, these T-22s are gonna be vital for the rest of the fight here. Object not in any cover currently. And with Reti here in this 5v3 right now, with endgame split. Object there away from the rest of the team. And Karo is very low. Object also losing the loader there. Oh, Radek able to clear, but these T-22s here are gonna make a difference. Charlie down to a one-shot, but he's still alive. And so is the rest of these mediums. They're very healthy. There goes the first one. And Reti is looking very, very good right now. Radek here able to clear out one more. But he will go down, and Reti here winning the first one. Very good aggression there, definitely fitting to the lineup they chose. And end up winning this one here. Well played. Marek, to make things clear, I said it. If you don't add your username, it won't work. And also you have until the next game starts. And then it will say stop, and everything after that will not count anymore. So please keep that in mind. But yeah, very interesting start to this matchup here. Endgame struggling quite a bit tonight with aggression from enemy teams. That might be their backbone, I'm not quite sure. Endgame usually the team that is the aggressor for most of their games. They can play passively, but I don't think they quite expected this now with APA overrunning them earlier. Now Reti doing the same here. Maybe the teams have figured out something. Will all depend on this next match here. Again, no mouse, meaning that a city play is more or less unlikely. Reti here now with quad e5s, double crown. Oh, might see a lineup change here. Seen IS4 from Iki and double crown, only triple e5. Endgame here, going for double crown, one IS4 as well, double e5 and a double T22 pair. Meaning this is basically a mirror matchup except one e5 being traded for T22 here. Alright. Reti here leading a 1-0 so far. Looking very good. And with this, the prediction stops now. If you haven't added your username, you better do it now. And yeah. Hit point advantage here for Reti. And they are actually going for a more city-sided approach here. Not going for the C-cap as aggressively as previously. Why are they shooting down the wall here? Very interesting. And as we can see, Radek here is making that B play that I mentioned earlier. The IS4 here being a mouse replacement more or less, and it seems Iki is doing a similar thing. Already shooting down some walls here to give themselves more vision. As we have El Nopen in A, meaning that they will be in cap advantage even if Endgame does double up in C here. But Charlie definitely should not be overcommitting. Oka already in the corner too, but seems to be moving out of it. And look at that, Iki is already in B here. He's being very greedy with this peak. Gets a reset there. Radek able to stop that B cap momentarily. But let's see how long that will last for. So he needs to pen again. Oh, he gets an AP pen this time. And Winch here now. Reverse side scraping too. Takes a shot there from Pencil Case. Not sure if that was worth it or not. Oh, Iki, they're trying again. Radek is on his point there. Gets that shot in very nicely. And it seems that Reti is still grouping up their tanks here in the back. Very, very passive. And Endgame here is slowly but surely relocating. Sending over their T-22. So Radek here peeking quite far forward there. Is now getting punished for it. With Vicky here in the corner there. Spotting that T-22 from Oka, and Iki is taking more damage. But so is Endgame. They're being very, very reckless with their hit points right now. And it seems that Reti is deciding to make their move here in the corner. Karo gonna be the first one on the receiving end. He has object behind him. But that's more or less it right now. Toby here is already on the way, and the T-22s are moving in too. But they need to really focus fire now. Charlie here being absolutely smacked from multiple sides. Susie here as well. And Endgame very, very quick to react right now. Charlie here, the first one to drop. Karo still alive. And kicking strong here. 80 there. Taking damage from the turret. Karo did manage to drop, but so did Iki and Radek here. Causing trouble over there. Oka is buying time from one of the E5s. And Winch is running from El Nopen. But the main fight is over here. AD is going to go down to Toby. In Endgame. With that 2-tank gun advantage now. Looking like a very good situation is upon them. Pencil Case here being swapped between them. As Radek now joins the fight as well. Pencil Case here drops first. Oka here actually helping out on Vicky there. 2v1 on that E5 with the T-22s. El Nopen gets a drive-by here on Susie. But that means Spitty is alone. Still full HP, but not for too much longer. as he gets penned here. Toby now with 2. Focus is on this E5 here. And the T22s from Endgame are on their way to help out and clean up. This game here, this will be a 1-1 score, evening things out. And a very good start to this matchup here. Port Bay usually very one-sided, but both Endgame and Reti showing that they don't just want to give up a map fully. Alright. Very good game here. Endgame. An okay damage spread. Karo did get focused and Winch had to play carefully over there. And Reti here just got absolutely focused. Icky too aggressive there near the B cap early on. And Charlie there was just the first one that did get swapped away. As we have a change of map now, moving to Rockfield. It is 1-1 here. Whoever wins the next game will be on match point. That would be very interesting to see. Alright, lineups are ready. Both teams going for chop, double Kranwagen. Reti here with quad E5 and a Vickers. Endgame triple E5 Vickers, and Radek in the ISO really likes that tank today. Playing that in most of his games. Endgame here. Nearly mirror matching again, only with an ISO instead of another E5. Getting a little bit more hit points. And that might mean we see Radek either in the cap on A or down at the B cap, defending that. That's usually how the tank is used on this map. But they could clash on either sides here, A or C. So it will be up to the light tanks to gather intel and for, of course, their callers to react properly. We have seen Endgame move their Vickers quite frequently now near the A side to get that intel first, meaning we might see that again in this game. So let's see how that one will turn out. Let's have follow. Oh, hello. Follow L, no pen. Also going towards the A side here with his Vickers. Oh, and Reti is boosting. Oh, are they? Nope, just sending the E5s back very far. But Winch and Elnopin both over here. Oh, okay, he has been seen. Got a pretty good spot out. And Reti is making a trap in the corner. With clans and E5s here being hidden from most angles. Oh, Toby here got a shot from that Vickers. Didn't quite peek carefully enough. We have Charlie over here being the Toby to Elnopin. And C now getting cap. Oh, and Reti is on the move here. Object might go in very big trouble here. But Oka is watching this. Oh, you might want to stay here, Oka. Oh, he does see the E5s coming in. But only 2 of them. An object here. Now the one in big trouble. Icky here. The first one to take some damage. An object on the run. Can he get out though? Gets tracked once. If he gets tracked again, this is over. Oh, he's down to a 2-shot here. Oh, and he got taken out. Very early kill here from Reti, and they are keeping on pushing. Susie is alone. Oka only has Radek, and Karo is not in a position to help. And Endgame is just getting pushed on here. Susie there. Down to a 2-shot. Oh, there he goes. Icky also now a 1-shot. Elno pen down to a 1-shot too, but Winch goes down first. Charlie here, able to clear that. Endgame is still keeping up with hit points somewhat. But the tanks are just not in their favor. Down 2 guns here is gonna make a very big difference soon. And considering that Toby is still over here fighting El No Pen, they're in a very bad position right now. He's gonna help out on the other side here. Can he get that Vickers? No, he doesn't. Orca drops. And this game, again, Endgame here, cannot comprehend the aggressiveness of their opponent. And Reti is taking full advantage of this. Caro here trying to save up some shots, but it's not gonna make a difference. And what a play from Reti here. Absolutely astonishing move. Endgame now needs to think about this next game. Forget about what happened here. And see how you react to the strat that will come after this. As Reti is now on match point. Endgame just lost a tiebreaker, so they must be on their nerves here. They are 1 game away from being out of the tournament. Being the probably biggest favorite here of all the teams. You don't want that to happen. And Reti in a very good position right now. They seem to have found a way to break Endgame. It hasn't quite worked on the second Port Bay game, but it has worked here. And if they can keep up these surprise pushes, Endgame might be in a very bad position right now. We have Varadek going off from an ISO to an E5, and Orca here going to a 1-1-3. The rest of the lineup seems to be the same. As we have Reti here changing it up. Icky now in an ISO. But the rest might stick. That would mean they adapt Endgame's lineup here. So let's see if they will go for Vickers again. But Reti now need to be careful not to get overconfident. And Endgame needs to think about how they want to play this game. Because they are not in the greatest position right now. Also, can I illuminate my background somewhat? It seems that won't be doable right now. Well, oh no. Let's just live with this, I guess. I have a lamp here. There we go. Alright. Have a very interesting turn of events. Endgame now in fear of dropping out as Reti is on match point. It is 2-1 right now in this best of 5 meaning you need 3 victories in order to succeed. And El No Pen with his Vickers leading the charge for Reti, who is again committing for the A side. Icky going down below for B, as Winch is all alone over here. No backup. But he has seen quite a lot of heavies already. And he definitely needs to go. Already going away here. We have a quick C-cap here. Endgame quick to react to that. Having all of their heavies over here. Icky is gonna go into B. As we have some A resets here from Caro. But don't think they can really reset B here without sacrificing too many hit points. Winch over there gets a good shot into Charlie. But Endgame now under pressure. Down on points. And maybe not in the best position here. Caro getting caught out by 2 Kranwagens here. Oh, this is not looking good. Endgame needs to punish these Kranwagens more. Already losing quite a bit of hit points, but this is not enough. Caro down to a 1-shot here. Whilst these Krans only lost total half of their hit points with the peak they made. Icky here. Gonna be pushing from the back and triple E5 push here. Winch needs to get out of this. Should be able to, but he might lose quite some significant hit points. But the focus is on Karo. He does go down, but Vicky goes down first. And Endgame here now more aggressive, pushing on the second Kranwagen. Toby here pushing out of harm's way as well, not able to clear. Oka there doing the job. And we have the Vickers from both teams now. Gonna be very vital. Elno Pen here. Free firing range onto the back of these endgame heavy tanks. As Reti is now in the mix of everything here. Focuses on Spitty and Toby. And Reti currently having the better focus fire. Oka here has to be careful. He has the main DPM left of these heavy tanks. But he's down to a one-shot. There we go. Elno Pen here. The full HP Vickers really making that difference. AD here needs to get cleared. But Object, he's very low right now. Oh, a low roll from Susie. 290. Object goes down. This is a 4v2 here. 1 hit point on AD. And this is looking very, very poorly right now. Susie here down to a one-shot. He has his Amarek gone too. The focus already switched to Winch. And the impossible happened. Endgame here going down on day 1. First against APA in a tiebreaker. And Reti here finishing the job. And what a shocking result on this evening. What a strong performance. This Vickers was vital. Elno Pen, absolute MVP of this game. And what a shocker. What an absolute shocker. Endgame here. The biggest threat and probably the most favored from most views, I would assume, goes down on day 1. And that throws everything out of the window. This one's still going on. You can watch this on Aminet's and Wild Ones Help Us stream. And with that, wow. Let me check the predictions. Did anyone see this coming? There's some 3-1s, but they are all for Endgame's favor and not for 80. God damn. I don't think anyone got this prediction right. Wow. I don't think anyone got this correctly. That means the replay giveaway is gonna give out 4 now. Again, like previously, I will at some point during the replay say stop, and then your damage predictions will stop and you can't guess any more than that. And whoever is closest, it doesn't matter if over or under, that also includes their name and their server, will win one of those battle passes. So moderators, 4 winners this time, because no one got the results correctly. Wow. Wow. Alright, also remember, this replay is 3 minutes long. And I'll be joining Fujit now.
Hello.
They're still playing. Shocker.
Very big shocker.
Shocker. There you go, look.
I don't think
What do you
anyone
think of that?
expected first in the leaderboard and the biggest favorite to go out on day 1.
No, exactly. I didn't expect that, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm a bit surprised, to be fair. Firstly, I'm surprised that Hollow Purple wasn't playing.
Nico, yeah.
That does surprise me because who's the caller for Endgame normally?
I don't know. It might actually be Nico. But I'm not fully
The reason I
sure.
the reason I ask is because in one of the PYSs, Nico didn't turn up for a couple of games, and they did look a little bit disjointed. And I have to say that with tongue in cheek because I mean these are some of the best players on the EU server. Let's not kid ourselves here. I mean they've all done a shed load of battles and they've got genuine win rates, and you know they can play the game a lot better than I ever would. But they just seem to be a little bit disjointed when Nico's not there.
Yeah. What I've
be fair.
noticed, and it might have been Reti cracking the case, so to speak, for Endgame here. Which seems that, you know, usually Endgame is the aggressor and they handle that very well. Although they can play passively. I think what they just cannot handle is being aggressive on. They did manage APA's pushes twice, but because they had knowledge about it. And Reti just used the right moments to push in all of these games. And I think Endgame can't handle the aggression. It might have to do with Nico missing. I'm not sure of that. But that was absolutely shocking.
But that's not the end game. I mean, guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from Reti. Reti played their hearts out, and they deserve the win. Okay. Sure. And no, I said in the street, we said at the beginning before the games, I said to I'm predicting 3-1 as well. But I hadn't seen Endgame play, and if Reti pulled their socks up, they could do it. And well, they did it. So nothing's being taken away from Reti.
Sure.
They played spectacularly. But let's be honest, that is not the end game that we normally see.
No, it's just more.
It really isn't.
What I meant to say, I might have phrased it a bit wrong, is that maybe Reti figured out a way to break the end game norm. You see, because APA showed it earlier that you can. It is very easy, feasible to beat endgame. They're not impossible to beat. And
of course they're not, no.
They did in one of the games put aggression against endgame, which put them under pressure. Again, I don't know if it has to do with Nico missing or not, but it put quite a big part of it. And considering that Reti in all of the games that they won, they have been very aggressive and very successfully so, it might be that that is endgame's, Achilles. I don't know though. It's just a hypothesis. Maybe they just weren't in top form, but Reti played this phenomenally. They exploited the issue that Endgame
I have one question.
And they
I've got one question for you that I mentioned in the stream, and I'm still scratching my head now. And you're a really good player, so you've played tournaments, and you can explain this one to me. What was Carole doing in that second game on Rockfield?
Which tank was he in?
The Crown Wagon. He died straight away. The B cap was being taken by Icky in the IS4. And Carole dropped down from his position. He was next to Winch, I believe.
Stop,
he dropped
by
down
the
from
way.
his position, went right into the open. He had no chance of resetting the B cap. It was taken. And he just got absolutely wrecked by everybody. And being funny, but Carole is firstly a very experienced player, and secondly, a very, 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 very good player. And that seemed like a really big schoolboy error. Unlike a sort of move I would expect from someone like Carole.
It's not really him making a mistake per se. The move to go down to B is normal, and it has been done quite frequently before. It's just more down to the fact that that move is now really predictable, because a lot of teams and a lot of seasons prior also have done it. No, let me keep talking. Because, for example, I've seen, I'm not sure who played against them, but BPS, the team with Zerd, not sure which of them that is, it's very confusing. But they also did the same. They had someone cap B, they set up where the two Kranwagens popped out from Reti, but just far behind with their 268 and a tank next to him, and they just shot down the IS-4 that was trying to stop that B cap. And that's what happened to Karo here. He got set up by the IS-4 that was in B. He just capped it. Regardless of what happened, it would have been a profit for them. But someone peeking there just was perfect for what Reti planned, because they had 2 Kranwagens set up for exactly that to happen. And he just got played, basically. It wasn't his error specifically. He just did what anyone normally would have done. It's just that Reti, those double Krans, that was so good. What they did. I also saw what that happened.
All I was going to say was, everything you said makes perfect sense, except for the fact that most of those tanks had been spotted. He knew where those tanks were. The Kranwagens had been spotted.
They weren't. When they peaked, they got spotted, but not prior.
Because don't forget, he'd already been shot twice from the A cap. He knew that there were things over there looking at B. That's why I'm querying it. Because it's just not like, wow.
Those Kranwagens,
it was just a move that I wouldn't have expected. Again, sorry?
No,
I'd have to recheck the replay. I don't think they. I think I thought they'd been spotted. Let me just check the replay.
But you can't, because as spectators we don't get replays.
No, I'm going back through the stream.
Yeah, I could do that too. But to my knowledge, these Krans had not been seen. Yep, they were the only things unspotted. The Ice for Icky was spotted. The E5s and the Vickers had been seen thanks to Winch's scouting, but these Krans were invisible. They hadn't been seen yet. I have it right now on my screen as well.
Here goes Carolade now. He drops down now. So far, what I've got on the screen is...
Let me show it to my
Charlie
screen as well.
spotted. I've got Vicky spotted, who's in a Kranwagen. Matt Spitty in the E5 spotted, and Charlie Seen in the E5 spotted. Pencil Case was not spotted, and he was in the other Kranwagen. So when Carolade dropped down, and don't forget, the IS4 of Icky wasn't spotted, but he's in the B cap. So when Carolade dropped down, 2 E5s and a Kranwagen were spotted. The Vickers, which was sat in the A cap, wasn't. Icky wasn't. He was sat in the B cap, and the other Pencil Case in the other Kran wasn't spotted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He
That's
didn't
why
know the Kranwagens were there.
But he knew the E5s.
Yeah, but
I mean,
him
E5s
to
are.
peek there is fine, because the E5s are top there. They can't get easy shots on Karo. He's free to shoot Icky here in this situation. He just didn't know that the Kranwagens would peek on that corner just when they pushed out, because they knew Karo had no backup. Everything was on the C side other than Winch, who, poked some shots onto the heavies. So they were easily able to peek here. Endgame actually reacted quite well, regardless of that. Because they put a lot of damage onto these Kranwagens also, and pushing them. It was just that they made the perfect trap for someone, and Karo was just the one who fell into it. So I can't really blame him here for anything.
Well, yes and no. I mean, he's still an amazingly experienced player. Not querying anything like that. I'm just saying, I wouldn't expect things like that to be done by Endgame, if you know what I mean.
No. Yeah, I get
It's normally Endgame who sucker. It's normally Endgame. Let's be honest here. Endgame are normally the ones who sucker other clans and other teams into their traps. It's not like Endgame gets suckered into traps normally. That's why I'm just very surprised. Very surprised, to be honest with you. But, what else can you say? I mean, in the second game on Port Bay, that was more like the end game that I know. In the first game, well, again, not questioning Winch and Orca in the 22s. They had the ability to put the cross shots into the STB, etc., up on the top, and they did that. But then they got wrecked themselves by the two T-22s reacting from Reti, which was fantastic.
They lost that brawl, absolutely, hands down. And the other
that
fight
was
was lost by them,
But that was great foresight, basically, by Reti to say, "Whoa, hang on a minute. These two T-22s are focused on that side of the map. Let's push them." And it just wow.
Yeah, the thing
and
is,
then you're right. Over the other side, they'd lost it already.
It just Reti played phenomenally that first game. Not just in the way they focus fight, because they did focus in very well, but also with just their reaction. Because they saw they were starting to win the heavy fight because they had better focus. And the T-22s were going down. Because you saw when I don't actually know which of the first T22s went down, but one of them died.
Orca.
That was Orca. Okay.
Orca was the first.
So
yeah.
it basically already was okay. We are going to win this corner regardless, and they even won it without losing one of their T22s, I think. So
They didn't lose it. They didn't lose it. They didn't lose either of them.
Yeah, that's
They
what
survived. Both T22s survived that brawl.
And you know,
one
having
of
that
them-
reassurance, because you have these extra tanks in the corner, and you know you're gonna have at least one extra. You know, one of them might still die. At that point, they don't know, but because they have that extra tank, that means they can be even more aggressive. Just because they know we have some backup, because Endgame won. And that reaction,
I mean,
it just threw Endgame off, I think.
Well, it was exactly. I mean, with the two T22s, I think the other one was pencil. I think one of them was pencil case, and I can't remember who the other one was. It's
No
slipped
Pen.
my mind now. No Pen. That's right. It was No Pen and who?
I don't remember the other one. I just know that No
can't
Pen
remember.
played the mobile tanks usually.
Well, one of them then stayed there, and Al No Pen, I think it was, then moved in to help out the rest of the team on the C cap, whilst the other T22 just stayed in that corner and farmed until the last minute. So it was a really good play by Retty, very good play. Okay, they had to sacrifice their STB, but
No,
what
he
a
actually
sacrifice.
was alive for quite a long time there. He only died at the very end.
But he got pummeled. That's what I mean by the sacrifice.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
because everybody focused him. And by focusing him, it allowed the T22s to wreck Endgame's T22s. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is, again, I'm surprised because the reaction normally of those players, Winch and Orca, in those tanks is normally, fantastically brilliant. And I don't know, it just seemed like Endgame were just, their heart wasn't in it. It's not, again, not taking anything away from Retty. It just seemed that, as I said, they just disorganized and not coordinated today. It was bizarre. A bizarre end game, let me put it that way.
True.
And, we got the prediction wrong. We said 3-1, and it was 3-1 to Retty, not 3-1 to Endgame.
That also is causing a trouble to me right now, because one of my giveaways was to guess the results, and no one guessed Retty. So I have to improvise.
All my giveaways are on damage, so thankfully I got away with that. But I'm again not taking anything away from Retty, but I'm rather speechless because they were the tournament favourites. They were, simple as, and they're now out on day one, and we're still waiting for seeing who goes out on day one in Group 2 because I don't know yet because I'm playing a replay of Layla's. So
Yeah, I'm also just showing
Can't
replays right now.
But, I mean, I said at the start of my stream that I thought, this is my personal opinion, I thought that maybe, just maybe, Serenity have got what it takes to beat Endgame and step up. They don't need to beat Endgame now because Endgame are not in it. And Serenity have been very, very consistent throughout the PYSs. They played consistently against Retty. They beat Retty convincingly, to be fair. Although it was a lot harder than they expected. Retty did play well. I haven't seen Loka. I think Loka, I don't know, it's Loka and A1N1, isn't it? No, it's
A1N1
Loka and
lost.
BPS tomorrow. Oh, okay, so BPS, one of the BPSs goes into play, whoever loses against Loka and the other BPS tomorrow. So, I mean, what have we got left? Well, I would say it's between, it's a difficult one. I would say Zerd's BPS. Zerd's BPS is up there. Loka have made one hell of a comeback.
They definitely did. Like midway of the season, they just turned it around so hard.
Oh, totally. They've made one heck of a comeback. And I'm still favouring Serenity at the moment. I am
They've
still
been
favouring
very
Serenity.
dominant. From the games that I streamed of Serenity, they've been, as you said, very consistent throughout their games. It just depends on.
No,
It
you're
seems
wrong.
the games of.
A1N1 beat BPS.
No, I
so
meant
BPS are out.
I meant in round one. A1N1 lost.
Oh, right. Sorry. Oh, right. Round 2. Right. Yes.
Ooh, that's
Okay,
interesting. I
so-
didn't quite expect that.
So, nor did I. But A1N1, they're playing okay. So it's Loka and BPS Gravitas. That's Zerd's BPS, by the way. Or the rebranded Aqua, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Hello.
They are playing tomorrow, and the loser of that game will go and play A1N1. In Group 1, wow, Serenity and APA, and the loser of that will play Reti. So it's will Serenity turn over APA? APA are going to feel buoyed up after beating Endgame earlier, and now Endgame are out. Everybody in probably is going to breathe a big sigh of relief. To be honest,
But let's say hi to Jack
I
and
have to
Aminet.
ask, what on earth
Yes.
happened?
Endgame got out aggressive, basically. Is how I would describe it.
Wow, no lag or crashes involved in this?
No.
no, not that we could see. Be honest with you, we were just discussing it. They didn't look like Endgame. Let me put it that way.
They really didn't.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way I can put it. They did not look like Endgame.
They also didn't have Nico. We don't know if he's the caller though, so we were just thinking about that the entire time.
That could be a big reason, to be honest. Because someone came into our chat to say us to tell us that Endgame lost, and we were like, wait, what?
They lost tiebreaker
yeah.
against
No one
APA,
expected that.
and then they lost 3-1 against Reti. Which was quite surprising. But Reti played well. Nothing away from them.
No, but
Yeah, I mean-
it's Endgame.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch Anna, it's not. That's the thing.
Yeah,
This
no,
is what
I
Peter and I were
definitely
just
support that.
discussing. Peter and I were just discussing this. I mean, it's not. I mean, Peter said, can't take anything away from Reti, but one of the things that Reti were doing was suckering Endgame into traps. And the thing that I said to Peter is, well, that's just not Endgame. It's Endgame who normally suckers the other team into their traps. Very rarely fall for the traps laid for them. So, I mean, I don't know. Peter doesn't know who the caller is. I don't know who the caller is for Endgame. Nico wasn't there. He was sat on the bench. And I must admit, they looked a little bit lost without him. And they played a few games in the PYS without him. And again, they looked a little bit lost. So that could be a factor.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be.
But maybe stopping with our matches. How did yours go?
Yeah.
Oh, A1N1 versus BPS. It was very close to call. It could have gone to BPS, but A1N1 did really well in the last two games. Particularly, the last game just went
Was it
Leroy
tiebreaker
Jenkins
or-
tiebreaker on New Bay. Yeah, they just went like they throw in everything and it worked for them.
No. That's
Wow.
surprising.
Yeah,
It
it
was
just went
all
like
great games,
yeah.
to be fair. Not predictable at all. A1N1 keeps going for a very heavy lineup, and you keep thinking that this is not going to work, and then it does, so you're pleasantly surprised. And then the next battle, it just works entirely different again. It's very interesting to see them play.
Very diverse then, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Nice. How did the Loka game play out against BPS?
Loka versus.
Oh, no, wait,
Oh,
they
that
didn't
was-
play. Wait, who did they play?
No, they did play against BPS.
Oh, yeah.
The
There were
backup-
two BPSs in our groups.
Yeah, no, I was
backup
just-
team. Yeah.
I was just confused for a second. Yeah, go ahead.
Though I was saying on my stream earlier with Eminet and also earlier as well, probably the best games I've ever seen. Probably might go far and say the best games I ever streamed.
Oh.
On my channel. So BPS was leading 2-0 at one point. And the second game was kind of a highlight of the entire stream, I would say. UE10 1 versus 1 against Unifin Josh in the Kramwagen. UE10 is in the IS4, and they were circling around the rock near the northeastern corner. There is a rock, where you reset B with a tank. What you at that moment is Loka with a slight cap lead by around 5 cap points. and the hit points are quite equal. So one versus one, you can't tell which one would win. But what UE10 did, he moved backwards gradually to B. B was under the capture of Loka, so around 980 cap points. Unif and Josh was desperately trying to permatrack UE10, but UE10 managed to slip into B, got the cap stop, and BPS, the cap points went back into favor and won it by 1 second, I think.
God damn, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That third game also, the third game also where Loka won, it was a total clutch. Basically, Loka was defending their cap lead, and they were defending very, very rigorously. And in the last few seconds, BPS was leading Loka by quite a significant amount of hit points. But what happened is that all the BPS tanks are very, very low. And Loka, at around 950 something cap points, killed one tank and they won the game. BPS just stayed, didn't really push through when they could have done so. So Loka got that game out, clutched that game, and that's kind of got them into a comeback, winning 2 other games, and it was just absolutely fantastic.
How did your games go, Aminette? With A1 and
Interesting.
1
Like I said, just A1N1 doesn't do what you would expect them to do with a lineup that you don't expect them to have. Like, there was a match on Canal, and the only reason that BPS won that match, with the first matchup that was pretty much because they had 2 very aggressive spotters, so they spotted the whole A1N1 team going exactly the direction that they did not expect them to be. So that's the only reason that, well, basically, of course, then after that everything evolves, but that's pretty much the reason that BPS still managed to win that game. A1N1 won the first game on pure aggression. Their whole playstyle is pretty aggressive, and I think that some of the matches that they've lost, because after that BPS won, it was basically a 3-1 for BPS, but the matches that they lost was basically when they didn't get away with that aggression, when that pushing aggressively with a heavy lineup didn't work out in their favor, or when they hesitated too much.
Yeah, that's a problem. Pushing and then not pulling through with it is the biggest mistake. Because the advantage of a push is taking the opponent by surprise, and usually getting 1 or 2 tanks caught off guard by maybe trading quite a bit of hit points most of the time. But if you push and then just stop midway, that gives the enemy team just the advantage to, regroup, get their stuff together, and then react to whatever they need to. So
that was the same case that we saw in the second matchup, A1 versus the other BPS. There was a match on Rockfield where we had a Mouse and a Kranwagen and a bunch of other tanks push very aggressively against 2 of BPS Kranwagens, pushing them away from their position. So they had the advantage there, and then they just stopped. Had they pushed on, they might have well won that, because it was a very close game. And as soon as they pushed those Kranwagens, BPS responded by pushing the other side of A1N1 to take out tanks there, basically as in do something to avoid getting run over. But because A1N1 just hesitated there for a very long time, they lost that game.
Wow.
Very interesting results tonight, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Indeed.
Very
interesting.
interesting.
I suppose the $64,000 question now is, Jack, can you jinx us?
I think
Further?
Thomas Peterson.
Waste.
I think Thomas Peterson jinxed a lot of clans tonight already. I think that bot predicted Endgame to win APA 3-1 and Rexy 3-0. So if Endgame has anyone to blame Thomas Peterson for jinxing them.
Back is blamed.
But for Thomas Peterson, we read.
And Loka also got.
Yeah.
Loka got reverse jinx day 1 instead of losing. And Endgame lost instead of winning.
Oh.
I mean, Thomas
Indeed.
Peterson got 6 out of 12 outcomes correctly, 3 of which are correct score lines. Not as good as Babox today, which got 8 out of 12 outcomes correctly. So,
So
Thomas,
basically, Thomas Peterson has a 50% win rate.
Yes.
yes.
Hey, 50%.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
absolutely.
instead of win rate, why don't we call it a 50% jinx rate?
That's probably more true. Yeah. So back to the $64,000 question, which is Jack going to continue jinxing every series? But so Endgame are out. Who's your money on now, guys?
Yeah.
That is going to be tricky. I would say Loka if they're having a good day. I still find Loka is not as consistent as they should be. And actually, no, Serenity is there, of course. Serenity first, Loka second.
Yeah, that's what
I
we,
don't know.
you put a good word to use there. That's what me and Fujit also talked about, consistency. And that's what Serenity's been really good at this season. So depending on how, of course, all other teams play, it's going to be very close, I think. Especially with the biggest favorite being out already.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although I got like insider info that Serenity lost like 1-9 in training, so but that could just be them trying a lot of new strats. So that cannot
Training-
be true.
Training stats are never taken into account because people are trying
Yes.
tactics there, and they're also pretty much sometimes YOLOing to see what the other team is doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So trainings are pretty much nothing to go by.
Getting reactions out of
Very
the
true.
opponent. It's also
Yeah.
really
Yes.
vital.
So without considering that, I would say Serenity, based on like the past results, including the March community tournament. So my money's on Serenity, but I might be jinxing them as well.
Yeah,
Maybe.
You're the
I
biggest
mean,
got
my
offender
money-
of that.
now that you said that, Jack.
Yeah. I mean, after streaming Serenity during the PYSs, I was very impressed with their laid back, very coordinated, and very good focus fire. To be honest with you, they've been very impressive this season. But as both Every and I said before you joined us, Loka, what a comeback! I mean, nowhere in winter, slow start to this season's PYS, and now look at them. What a comeback!
Save the best for last.
The other thing, we can't discount the psychological boost that APA and Reti have now been given.
Oh, definitely.
They have kicked out Endgame. Reti, their psychological boost will probably be a little bit more than APA's. And you know, if I was sat with Reti at the moment, I'd seriously, I'd be on the ceiling, I think. Because it was a pushover. Seriously, I mean,
It was.
you know, APA at least it went to a decider. Reti, no disrespect to you, Endgame, because we know what you're all about. They were pushed over by Reti.
The thing is, the APA
Fairness.
game wasn't just a tiebreaker. It went down to being a 2,000 versus 2,000 hit point game in the tiebreaker itself, with APA having 3 one-shots and a 2-shot left standing at the end. So it was very close, this matchup. So
Houses.
I'm not sure how it would have
It's-
gone had Endgame won and APA played Reti, though. I couldn't predict that one.
Me neither.
It's
but I-
certainly been set up for an interesting day too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Also, let's have a look at the challenges, maybe, because we unfortunately have no streamers there. So,
I've just looked at that in mine.
Shadow and
It's good.
Sparta are disqualified, as it seems.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Shadow
Much later.
losing to Vale and Reckham.
Well, I mean, Shadow's kind of like expected to be honest there, but I mean,
I'm just saying results. And Sparta
Yeah,
losing
but
to Raid and
quick.
Kraken.
but Quake was another anomaly here. 3-0 against Reckham.
Did they? Goddamn. Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, 3-0 against Reckham. I thought a lot of people are writing off Quake because they got the top 16 in the last previous skill tournament
By
at the
10
expense of
points.
cash.
10
By 10 points.
Mm.
And they beat Reckham, which is currently in the 9th place. But fair enough. I mean, Quake's team is quite different to the team in previous skill tournament, and I think a lot of them are from the Reckham second team, so that could explain something. But still, having them winning 3-0 against Reckham's first team, it is mind-boggling. say
IW
the least.
also 3-0 Kraken.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the two Germans dominating Group 2, basically. That's what
Yeah.
it's looking like right now.
Yeah.
That is going to be a very interesting matchup to play out. Sadly, we have no one streaming it.
Sorry. What is somebody's just said? Level 2 trading in my chat. It's just said. PS are like gremlins. They just keep multiplying.
True that. Also,
sorry, I couldn't stop laughing.
we rib on Jack and his jinxing and everything a lot, but he does put in a lot of work in these spots and in the just the whole pre-work of this whole tournament series with teams and just estimates as what he thinks that will happen and everything. So massive kudos to that for you for that, Jack.
Oh, thank
I
you
will
very
still
much.
tease you relentlessly regarding the jinxing and all,
We all.
but I do appreciate your hard work too.
Oh, thank you.
Loads of hard work for 50% being wrong. Hey.
My mum once had a friend who was a weatherman, and the weatherman said that he loved his job because it's the only job in the world where you can be wrong 100% of the time and still keep it.
Yeah.
True.
It's kind of the same with your spots.
Well, I mean, you're in. I hate to say which country it is. Is it Holland? Is it Netherlands? I
The
don't know.
Netherlands. I will
Netherlands.
give you a
So,
history lesson some one time because
Okay.
Holland doesn't exist.
this is very true. But are you anywhere near Nijmegen or Arnhem?
I live in Nijmegen.
Live in Nijmegen, lovely
Yeah.
part of the world. So, in World War II, Operation Market Garden, complete success when it came to certain bridges, like the one in Nijmegen. Absolute failure when it came to Arnhem.
Yeah.
It's okay because Monty and his general said it was a partial success. Jack, you're a partial success.
He's-
well, at least the bot got the A1N1 and BPS result completely correct.
Hey, at least you're halfway to a weatherman, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, to be honest, I'm studying weather as well in my university, so
Ooh, you're going to be a meteorologist.
yeah.
you go.
So
That's awesome.
yes, yeah.
I mean, it was getting to the point where I was also getting the Jack jinx. Every time I interviewed a clan, they lost.
Just don't speak to anyone, Fujit.
So I stopped interviewing them. it's much easier that way. Because I interviewed Raid, they lost. I
Round one.
interviewed IW, round 1, they lost. Interviewed IW, round 1, they lost. Interviewed Gaseo Jones for BPS, they lost. All in round 1, first game out.
Oh
After-
So
straight after
basically
the
what you're
interview.
saying is that you're a weatherman too.
no.
Basically, I'm saying, but basically what I'm saying is,
Oh,
almost
he's the
got to
news
that point where
reporter. I mean, he's the news reporter.
No, we can safely say that
I've stopped
the Fujit
interviewing.
is Curtis real.
I have stopped interviewing them.
We're getting a
Everything's
TV
happy
crew
again.
here now, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Everybody's nobody's going to be interviewed by me anymore. They're all going to refuse because they think every time he talks to somebody, they lose. So, but anyway,
Yeah. Well,
But
what,
in-
Right, now,
Interesting
I'm
day.
gonna leave you now.
why?
We'll be streaming again in like 5 hours, so
true. We
Exactly.
got that.
I need a
happening.
nap.
Yeah, aren't we all back
Exactly.
for NA in 5 hours?
Yeah, we are.
Yep, all of us are on NA.
Yeah.
Fujit and I will be streaming professionals, and you two will be streaming challenges, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So we will be back in 5 hours. I wish you all a very good night, and I will see you
Yep,
then, maybe.
Yep.
All right.
indeed.
All right.
Well, until then, I'll catch you all a bit later.
See
Good
you.
night.
Bye. Bye,
Good
guys.
night.
Bye.
Bye. Good night. Bye.
And yeah, has been a nice evening. Bit longer of a stream than I expected, but that's fine, right? And I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I was able to give out 7 battle passes. In terms of giveaways out of the 8 I was aiming for. But we had some unexpected results, so that happens. And the winners are Robin, Mori, Johnston from Asia, Mr. Big from an A, Naro from EU, White Devil Virus from an A,
Admiral Boom Boom from EU, and JZ33 from EU as well. I'll be saving this list, and of course with also the moderators who got a battle pass. And once all professionals are over, I'll forward the list to Wargaming, and then once the new battle pass hits, you should get your premium ones. And with that, I'll end it here for tonight. I will be back tomorrow for the EU server as well, and at least for me tomorrow, also NA, which is in 5 hours. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching, and see you all again next time. Bye bye.